All right, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. I'm gonna be getting into doing the coolant riser delete on this. Man, end of April almost, weather's still super shitty. But anyway, we're gonna do it outside, not in the garage. I feel like the lighting's a little bit better out there so everybody can see. But gonna try to do this step by step. I'm going to link all the stuff below, show you guys exactly what's needed. I use Fleece's universal kit. Their universal kit is all set up for, it's basically so they can't get in trouble and say that this is actually what it's for, because obviously if you're doing coolant riser delete, you understand why. But let me flip the camera around. Before we do that, guys, like, subscribe. 10,000 is always the goal. We're trying to push as much content, work with as many companies as we can. Little boy's ripping in the yard. So by you liking, subscribing, commenting, all that below, huge difference. Just like the video, click on the links in the description, everything helps. Let's get into it. I'm gonna show you guys what I have first and then we're gonna flip it around. Man, I'm not gonna lie guys, end of August, or wow, August, no. End of April and I'm still wearing a hoodie is unacceptable. But anyway, trying to lay this out here. Probably should have did that before I picked the old camera up, but anyway. This is literally all you're going to need. I might need some worm gear clamps for the end of these right here, but step back here a little bit so you guys can see this pipe right here, which if I'm routing this the way that I think it's going to go, I could be wrong. This obviously the first time I'm doing this, I could be wrong. I'm going to think that this one's going to come out of where the water pump housing is going to go, and then it's going to come up here, it's going to tee. This, it flares out here. Their universal kit flares out for the top of your bubble, and then this one is going to go out of the firewall. That's what I think. Now I could be wrong. I could have to loosen them up, orientate them a little bit. I don't know yet, but that's the way that makes the most sense to me. And then this is your Fleece fitting, which of course I'm not going to be able to undo while I have it on here. These are two separate parts. The fitting itself looks exactly like this. It's a 10 AN, and then you go to a 10 AN push lock. So these are two separate parts that they do not come together. The Fleece kit just comes with this plug right here, and then it comes with this bolt. Now, let me get you guys some part numbers here. So that's gonna be for your water pump housing. And this is gonna be for all your hosing. Hosing? I don't even think that's a word. Anyway, I know I'm talking a lot in this video. I know I'm kind of like rambling. Some of these kits, you can get them from like Point Blank Performance, 8-Ball Diesel Works. They're like 230 bucks, 240 bucks. Fleece setups, good bit cheaper than that. So keep that in mind. It'll save you a couple bucks. And in my opinion, I don't know, I'm not even trying to be biased by Fleece. I wish they were sponsored this. I wish they'd sponsor any video actually. Their products, every single time I've had an interaction with a Fleece product, I'm not even trying to dick ride them. It's just the best. Like it's so good. So anyway, let me get in here. I'm gonna bring a stool out here so I can hop in this thing, and I'll walk you guys step by step exactly what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be, I'm just kind of talking right now. This isn't gonna be directly. All right, guys. Gonna kind of cover something prior to getting into the coolant riser delete. I've gutted this CCV filter for probably like 3 years now. You can see definitely has plenty of oil coming out of that breather. The best thing I need to do, honestly, is I need to just get a D&J valve cover. Yeah, that needs to be definitely addressed and covered. But anyway, I'm gonna work on getting the top stuff off on the coolant, and then I'm gonna go down there, and at the bottom of this riser, I believe it's like it looks like a 10 millimeter maybe that has it held in. Then I should be able to remove this whole thing in one pull. That's kind of my goal. So this is where I'm gonna go. Overflow. This gets capped off. Not sure how I'm gonna cap this off yet, but this definitely gets capped off. This is how Pusher's kit actually comes. It comes with a little plug here. Obviously to the head here, which that fitting I've heard is I heard it's a bitch to get out. So I have the plug for that as well. And then I am going to this line that runs all the way back to the firewall. And then realistically up top, that should be it. And then I'll probably have to pull intake off and then all this lines and stuff. So this is why it flares out to go up to your bubble. Yeah, so just kind of walking you guys through it, trying to make it as easy as possible to where if you're tackling this yourself, you should be able to knock it out no problem. So let's just hop right into it. All right, sorry for the wind noises. I said I was gonna do this and pull it all out at once, and then I'm kind of like, why would I try to do that? Anyway, this right here, just a little clip, I got tucked out of the way for right now. I did get that off. I didn't think to really drain too much of the coolant. I did put a bucket underneath, but when I pulled this one off the block, definitely had a little bit of coolant still in it. And then now I gotta work on that back clamp. Just pulling that out of the firewall. I want to be very careful I don't damage that, so that's why I was trying to clear up some of this room. Once I do that, I think my best, I don't know, I guess I still got to remove this. I was thinking about just dropping the fender liner and then looking at it that way, but I'm going to try to do this one up top first, because obviously all I got to do, undo that, pull it out of the way, and then should be able to have pretty easy access down there. Yeah, so I know, just kind of working you guys along. That fitting, I'm probably going to save that for last, because I hear how much of enjoyment it is. So anyway, keep trucking along here. All right, so I took the intake off. I felt like that was the easy route. Got that coolant line off the heater core. That was not hard, just, man, I'm not very tall, so getting back there is quite difficult. Anyway, this Y down here, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, there it is, kinda, there it is. See that little bolt right back, there it is. I think that's an 8 or a 10 millimeter, and that is gonna undo that Y, and you're gonna be able to get to everything you're trying to get to. So once I undo that bolt, should be, I'm not even gonna lie, I never realized how close that oil filter is. Oh, I really hope I don't gotta take that off. This oil only's got like 2,000 miles on it. That would suck. Yeah, so that's something I definitely got to think about. I'm hoping that's not the case and we can get around that. But if we have to, well, we have to. So anyway, gonna work on getting that single bolt out, and then I should be able to pull everything out, guys. So that's where we are right now. All right, so start here and then we'll talk about what we have left. So the reason I took out the coolant bubble is because I actually have a metal one, so that was going to get replaced anyway. But I'm going to show you guys like how this looks outside of the vehicle, kind of how crazy it is. So this starts down at your housing, which is down at your oh my goodness, water pump, right behind the water pump housing. And then you can see it Y's up. This side goes over to the coolant bubble, and this side goes into all that junk. I did list that bolt below. If you guys are on a 2G swap, you'll understand why you need that. It's a drain plug. If you have questions about that, drop it down in the comments and I'll get you that part number. But then obviously goes up back into the coolant jug. This goes over to the cylinder head, and this goes back. And show you guys, sorry, I'm trying to not scratch up my nice stuff here. I'm trying to show you guys how this is gonna look. It's kind of probably hard to imagine what I'm about to show you, but you go from this rat's nest simply down to this. So you're fitting from Fleece here, it's gonna bolt into the cylinder head. You're going to have this up like so, push this down with that push lock fitting. I'm also going to apply a clamp, and then I'm obviously going to have to undo this because I want that to orientate back into the firewall, back into the heater hose. And thinking about it, I don't think I need this hose, so I might have to switch. They do make an option where you don't have the flared out hose. I guess I'm just unsure if I'm going to reuse that bubble or not, but I'll show you guys what the bay looks like. The bay is sick. You guys got to think, I also have a battery to delete, but but which, oh, the wind frees up a good bit more room. But last thing I have to get, which is the dreaded plug out of the cylinder head. I think I'm gonna just straight up get the torch out, use some heat, because I just know that it's not gonna come out. But anyway, give you guys a little bit of view of how this looks now. And obviously the riser, when it was going up over this way, it's gonna be no more. It's obviously gonna route over this way and go from there. Man, I will say this: when you guys are draining your coolant, if you're not dumping the hose, make sure you have a bunch of buckets underneath, because it makes quite the mess. All right, I'm gonna work on that. I don't know if it's gonna be today. For you guys, it'll be today, but I gotta work on getting that out. Anyway, let me keep trucking along here. Progress is good so far. So, all right, guys. So I test fitted this fitting from Fleece to make sure obviously it fits in there, which if it's fine, no issues. You need to screw this fitting on first because it does not clear the oil filter housing. So you got to make sure that you have that in tight first. So I'm going to put a little bit of what's that stuff called? The white Teflon tape. Thank you. Teflon tape in there. And then I'm going to cinch this down, and then I'll be able to put this back in the housing. I still have to get that fitting out of the head, but I don't think I have anything for the torch today. My only concern that I wanted to mention too, while I'm doing this, keep in mind of this hole size. I don't think that matters, but the hole size on the factory is much, much larger. Again, I don't think that matters because it like Y's and does all this other fancy, stupid stuff that it doesn't need to, but I just wanted to keep that in mind. So anyway, let me get back in the truck here, show you guys what that fitting looks like. Guys, I'm sorry about the wind. It got later in the day. Obviously had some family stuff to do. I'm trying to just bear with me if you guys are hearing the wind noise. So the longer part that I was mentioning does go up there. Looks like this is gonna fit perfectly flush, which I'm probably just gonna throw the factory coolant bubble back in here for right now, and do some more testing with that other one. I'm not sure yet. That's kind of the route I think I'm gonna go. And then this, I don't have that fitting in there. It's just gonna go down on that push lock. So yeah, so far everything's kind of going the way that I thought. But if you want like a general overview of how this universal Fleece kit fits, you can see exactly what it's meant for. So anyway, let's keep plugging along here. Hopefully we can finish this up tonight. I still have that to get out, which that's gonna be, I'm just avoiding it at this point. But anyway, let's get back to it. Not trying to rush this, guys, but I am going pretty quick here. I got that down in there. Once I secure this, I'm going to talk about this separately here in just a second. I might have to trim some of the hose up a little bit on the bottom, but I want to talk about the part that I've been avoiding, which is that. And unless you're really strong, which if you are, congratulations. I do work out, I go to the gym, and that was horrible. So I'm going to give you my little tip and trick here that hopefully helps you out a little bit. Now this is loose now, it's ready to come out, thankfully, as you can see. But to get this thing moving, I had to use 1 inch, and then I had 1 1/8 inches, and I stuck this in here and used this as leverage, like pushing both wrenches together, if you know what I'm talking about. I can't really show you with one hand, but I hope this helps you. I used a lot of PB and a lot of cussing to get that, but that was very, very, very challenging. So I'm going to thread that out now and get the NPT fitting that I have, which is a 1/2 inch. That'll be down in the description below if you've made it to this point in the video. Also, if you've made it to this point, I do this stuff, guys, so please subscribe. So hopefully you don't have to learn any of the tips and tricks yourself, and you learn them through me. So just subscribe. But anyway, let me get that out, and I'll show you guys the hose issue that I'm kind of running into. It's not an issue, I just don't like how it looks. So let me get to this out and show you guys. All right, guys, that is a 1/2 inch NPT fitting. Yeah, I need to clean up all this stuff and the breather before. That's a whole nother video. I'm probably gonna end up running out of my battery's gonna die, so I'm trying to finish this up as much as I can. But anyway, I have that. I need to the push lock fitting, which is down there, that's all tightened up, and it's actually secure it into the head or into the fitting right there. Told you I was going to put a little Teflon there, just make sure no leaks. Worm gear clamp right there. My complaint is, which I guess I could cut this or maybe try to show you guys the best I can. See that little crimp right there? Just don't like how that. All right, guys, I'm pretty much going to finish up the video here. 98% done. Just got a small things, but I'm gonna cover everything. So down here, this bolt, guys, 8mm, 10A in fitting to a 90. I will say this is gonna be even more interesting to get out now, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Hose clamp, this is on a push lock fitting. Swoops around here. Remember, I have the factory one. There's 2 worm gear clamps down there. Obviously they're not up there. I have the sensor in the bottom of this. That little kink right there, but I'm wondering when the system pressurizes, like if it will like pretty much like open itself up. I'm gonna find out. And then all the way back there, this right here, put Teflon on there. You guys can, this is stainless steel and obviously the head's cast, so you guys can go ham on that. It ain't gonna hurt anything. But you can see all the oil spillage on the manifold from that breather. I'm gonna route that differently before it goes back together. Of course, the dogs. Anyway, this hose needs to go up here, and then this second one right here needs to, oh, come on, needs to be capped off because that went to the overflow that was on the riser. And that's it, guys. I think the only other thing, hang on a second. Oh, focus. The only other thing, guys, that I think I wish I would have done is went to the metal coolant tank, but I just want to get it back together. I have a lot more coolant stuff. I have the upper hose, I have the water pump, I have a bunch of other stuff, so I'm not really worried about, like, I'm gonna fill it full of water, I'm gonna be 100% honest, just see if I have any leaks. So it's probably gonna come back apart again, but this was kind of just to get it together. All the links to all this stuff is going to be down in the description for you to do. Save you a couple bucks, believe me, versus some other ones. So anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I hope this video helped. I know a couple people have been looking for it for quite a while. Till next time, support those who support you. Plenty more content coming. Cummins content coming from my brother and other people. So support those who support you.